Hello everyone, this is Ma'am Kat and this is going to be our fifth video for child and adolescent development area. And this video will be focusing on Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. So, share ko muna yung screen. In the previous video, we talked about Piaget's cognitive development theory. So ito pong kay Lev Vygotsky, sociocultural theory was also focused on cognitive development. Pero yung title ng theory niya, hindi cognitive development theory, but it's sociocultural theory. So later on, you will realize why it's called sociocultural theory. So let's talk about, sino ba itong si Lev Vygotsky? Saan siya nakatira? He was born in Russia in 1896. And then, itong si Vygotsky, amazing siya kasi gusto talaga niya ma-improve yung teaching niya. So, yung work niya, nag-start siya when he began studying, when he was studying learning and development to improve his own teaching. Gusto niya ma-improve yung way of teaching niya. And because of that, he was able to develop this theory. And he was also a writer in many areas, like, for example, he wrote on language, thought, psychology of art, learning and development, and even educating students with special needs. So, yan po si Lev Vygotsky. Now, sa theory po niya na sociocultural theory, as I've said, ang focus po niya is the development of cognition. Pareha kay Piaget. Pero, ang kanya, naging sociocultural theory. Bakit sociocultural theory? Kasi para sa kanya, meron pong dalawang important factors that are crucial in the development of cognition. So the first one is what we called as social interaction or the social factors, and the second one is cultural factor or tinatawag natin na culture. So itong dalawa, itong social interaction and culture, they play a very crucial part in the development of a child's cognition. And then, ano ba itong nasa social interaction? Sabi kasi ni Vygotsky, effective learning only happens through participation in social activities. Unlike kay Piaget na ang focus lang is yung the child's exploration of the environment. So mag-explore lang siya sa environment. Ito, para sa kay Vygotsky, magiging effective lang yung learning when the learner participates in social activities. Kaya po, very important po ang ating mga parents, ang ating mga teachers, and even our peers while we learn. Kasi pag involve po itong tatlo, and even others na hindi ko na-mention dito, as long as may social interaction, mas madali po ma-achieve ang success sa learning or success in learning. So very important social interaction. But I think naging very famous din ito si Lev Vygotsky because of the concept of ZPD or zone of proximal development. Ma'am, ano po ba itong zone of proximal development? So, ito po yung difference, this refers to the difference between what a learner can do without help and what he or she can achieve with guidance and encouragement from a skilled partner. So, it's the difference between the potential level and the actual level na later po ipapakita ko sa inyo. So, ito siya yung, kumbaga, ZPD. So, ito yung nasa gitna, ito yung zone of proximal development. Ang nasa left side niya, yung kayang gawin ng isang bata, at yung nasa right side niya, yung hindi niya kayang gawin. So, the potential level minus the actual level. Ito po yung ZPD. Para mas maintindihan po natin, ito po ang ating diagram. So this is what the learner can do unassisted. Kahit walang help from anyone, ito yung kaya niyang gawin. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na actual level. And then, yung pinaka outer sa circle, ito po yung potential level. Yung hindi niya kayang gawin. Pag i-minus natin ang potential level minus the actual level or the difference between the potential and the actual level, itong area na ito, it's what we called as the zone of proximal development. This is where learner can do things with dapat may help or may assistance coming from the knowledgeable others or the MKO. So as again, as I've said, ZPD is equal to potential level minus the actual level. So, pag sabihin natin potential level, that's the level that the learner achieves with assistance of the teacher or a more advanced peer. And the actual level is the level that the learner achieves alone, yung kaya lang niya. So pag i-deduct natin or i-minus natin yung potential level minus the actual level, you get the ZPD. Okay? So again, yung ZPD is potential level minus the actual level. You get the ZPD. So itong ZPD or Zone of Proximal Development, very important ito. Ito yung area kasi na mas maka-learn sila pag may help from the MKO. Ano ba yung mga MKO, ma? More knowledgeable other. Sino ba itong mga more knowledgeable other? Ito po yung mga competent adult or a more advanced peer. So kung halimbawa, yung mga teachers natin, sila yung nagtuturo sa atin. Yung mga learners kasi, sabi ni Vygotsky, hindi po dapat natin turuan ang mga learners ng something na alam naman nila yung actual level. Hindi din pwede yung level na hindi talaga nila kaya na level. Dapat, nandun sila sa level, sa ZPD, kumbaga, yung level na may magtuturo sa kanila or may mag-help sa kanila. And sino yun? Yung mga MKO or more knowledgeable others. So, competent adult or a more advanced peer. Pero, just would like to emphasize na hindi lahat naman ng mga mas bata ang edad, sila yung mga tinutulungan. At hindi lahat yung mas matatanda, sila yung mga MKO. Kasi, for example, sa pag-learn how to use the computer, ang mga parents natin, sila yung mga, kumbaga, nagiging mga learners. Tayo, na may mas alam sa mga computer, mga internet, tayo ang nagiging MKO nila, more knowledgeable other. Kasi tayo yung mas competent sa kanila. So, tingnan nyo lang muna, masasabi mo na MKO ang isang tao pag more competent siya or more advanced sa tinuturuan niya, MKO. At ang yung tinuturo po niya, yung tinatawag natin na scaffold or the support. Or in this case, ang term po doon is scaffolding. So that is the support or assistance that lets the child accomplish a task he cannot accomplish independently. Ang scaffolding po is mako-connect po natin or ma-relate po natin when we are building a house or constructing a house. Di ba makikita po natin na before naitatayo ang naitatayo ang bahay, is marami po tayo mga scaffold, yung mga braces ba, that will help to support the walls, etc. para mapatayo yung isang bahay. So, in the same manner, or in the same way, needed po yung scaffold or yung support sa isang bata para mag-succeed po siya sa learning niya. So, again, in the ZPD, there's the importance of the MKO, the more knowledgeable other, the competent adult or more advanced peer, and the support that they give, that's the scaffolding. Okay? Pero kailangan po, yung scaffolding po or support na binibigay natin, dapat judicious assistance lang po siya. Ano po yung judicious assistance? Mean to say, pag nag-assist tayo, dapat alam natin kung anong klase lang ng assistance ay bibigay natin. Sa mga nag-start talaga, kailangan yung full assistance talaga. Pero pag alam na nila, pwede verbal assistance na lang. And later on, dapat mag-fade away na yung scaffolding. Kasi ang goal natin, hindi sila pwede na may support all throughout their life. Kailangan maging independent sila. So, kailangan judicious assistance given by the adult or peer so that ma-move sila from the actual development to the zone of proximal development. Now, kung tayo po ay nagsascaffold, yung halimbawa tayo po ang MKO or the more knowledgeable others, meron po tayong process na nag-move into 4 levels when we scaffold or when we help. Usually, kung nag-help tayo, ang ginagawa first natin, halimbawa may kapatid tayo na hindi marunong, tayo ang gumagawa. Kumbaga, pinapakita natin yung process. I do, ako muna ang gagawa, you watch. So, I do, you watch. Next one is I do, you help. Okay? Next is, let the child or let your brother or sister do. You do, pero wag mo munang i-leave behind siya na walang help from you. So you do, I help, and then you do, I watch. So naging baliktad na yung process. So again, balik natin. So the first one is I do, you watch. Next, I do, you help. Next, you do, I help. And next, you do, I'll watch. So yun po yung process ng pagtulong natin or pag-provide ng scaffold. And then do you know that learning also will depend on the following factors. Ang pag-learn po ng isang bata, magdepende po siya una sa skill of the MKO. So halimbawa, yung tuturo is napakagaling, di ba? That will really help the learner learn fast. The second one is learner's readiness. So kahit magaling pa yung nagtuturo, pag hindi naman po ready yung tinuturuan, magiging useless naman po. So learner's readiness is also an important factor. And third is the skill. Kaya ba? Is it too difficult for him? Na kahit may assistance, hindi pa rin niya kaya. So difficulty of the skill being learned. So again, these three factors are important in learning. So una, skill of the MKO. The second one is learner's readiness. And the third one is difficulty of the skill being learned. So, na-discuss na natin yung first factor, no? Yung sinasabi nating social interaction na very important in ZPD. So, ZPD, very important ang MKO and scaffolding, na dapat ang scaffolding later on mag-fade away para independent na si learner. Okay, next one. Let's also discuss about culture. So, ang culture naman, unlike Piaget, hindi po nabigyan ng tawag nito, hindi po nabigyan ng opportunity hindi po nabigyan ng big impact ni Piaget yung culture. Bakit po? Because sa kanya, hindi naman nagka-influence yung culture sa cognitive development. Unlike kay Vygotsky na hindi po siya nag-propose in fact ng universal stages. Si Piaget meron siyang 4 na universal stages sa cognitive development, yung SPCF. Para kay Vygotsky, ang culture is very important kasi walang universal stages because iba-iba naman po ang culture kung saan nanggaling po yung mga estudyante. So culture here, according to Vygotsky, ang cognitive development, according kay Vygotsky, varies across cultures. Kasi may mga culture na mga very supportive yung mga parents, may mga, sa education, may mga culture naman na hindi naman supportive. They are against education of women, like ganon. So that can also affect cognitive development. So he looked into the wide range of experiences that the culture would give to a child. So in fact ngayon, we are so blessed kasi yung mga babae ngayon are given equal opportunity for education. Unlike before, na ang tinuturo lamang sa atin ng mga babae is yung pagluluto lang, pag-serve sa husband, etc. Okay, next one is about language. Now, kung hindi ko na-include kanina yung dalawang factors na, di ba, dalawa lang yun, yung social interaction at culture. Pero may isang factor na importante din sa development of cognition. We call that one language. So, ano po itong language? Remember, di ba, yung first is social interaction. You cannot interact with other people without the use of language. So, language opens the door for learners to acquire knowledge that others already have. So, ang language po, hindi lamang siya nagsiserve as a social function na mag-interact, yung social interaction. Meron din po siyang important na individual function. I think many of us have experienced the so-called private speech or yung self-talk. Diba pag nahihirapan tayo sa mga bagay-bagay, diba we usually talk to ourselves, diba? To solve a problem. So that's a form of self-talk. Ang private speech is a form of self-talk that guides the child's action and thinking. So ito po yung language na ito, nagre-regulate din nagre-reflect sa own thinking natin. And according to Vygotsky, language has an important influence in the development of a child's cognition or intellectual development. Okay? Now, so if we're going to sum up, ano yung differences ni Piaget's cognitive development and Vygotsky's sociocultural theory? Una, si Piaget po, more individual in focus po siya. So, ibig sabihin, ang learner mag-explore lang siya sa environment. So, as the child or the learner explores with the environment, mas na-develop yung cognition. Si Vygotsky naman, kailangan talaga para sa kanya na ang social interaction, kaya ang focus niya is more of social. Kailangan mag-interact ang learners sa mga parents, teachers, peers for his cognition to develop fully. And then, si Piaget, meron siyang universal stages, yung SPCF, di ba? Pero si Vygotsky, hindi po siya nag-propose ng different stages of cognitive development because of the cultural factors na iba-iba naman po ang cultures na pinanggagalingan ng mga tao or ng mga learners. Kaya hindi po natin ma-generalize. Kaya wala siyang stages or universal stages. And then si Piaget, he did not give much emphasis on language kasi para sa kanya, language kasi is, kumbaga, hindi siya important ingredient, kumbaga ba? Hindi siya important na factor in the cognitive development. In fact, para sa kanya, language is a manifestation na na-develop ng cognition. So, kumbaga, pag na-develop ng intellect natin, nakakapagsalita na tayo. Yun yung thinking ni Piaget. But for Vygotsky, language is an important factor in the development of the cognition. So he stressed the role of language in cognitive development. Kaya nga, in language is very important as well in social interaction. Kasi pag walang language, wala ding social interaction. And the more na mas mahirapan sa pag-develop ng cognition. So yun po yung mga differences sa theory ni Piaget and ni Vygotsky. So that ends Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. So before we proceed with the quiz, I hope that you will just pause the video and then study for a while and then go back to the video and then try to answer. So ako po, diretso na lang po ako na mag-answer tayo sa ating quiz. So the first question is, this is the support or assistance that lets the child accomplish a task cannot accomplish independently. I think very common naman ang ating clue, which is support or assistance. So of course, that is what we call as scaffolding. Next, Mr. Flores always gives clues, example, and any form of encouragement to make his students grow as an independent learner. So kung titingnan ninyo, siguro may mga nako-confuse na possibly ang answer motivation kasi may encouragement or possibly scaffolding. Pero we have to take into consideration na hindi lang naman po encouragement ang given dito. Pero din namang mga clues, mga examples. So di ba itong mga, pag isang teacher nagbibigay ng mga clues, mga examples, encouragement, nagsusupport yan sa learning. So ang answer dyan, support, that is scaffolding. Number 3, Vygotsky claimed that social interaction is important for learning. What does this imply? So tingnan niyo sa mga options na ito, saan po dito sa mga options ang nagbibigay ng importansya sa social interaction? So hindi po pwede na letter A. Kasi sabi dito sa letter A, since they are not capable of interaction, children in the crib have no learning yet. No interaction. Sabi dito, important ang social interaction. Huwag naman din tayo mag-answer na children or independent problem solvers. Pag independent po, in short, wala pong social interaction kasi sila-sila lang. So it's either letter B or letter C. Tama ba na children learn well by passive presentation of information? Pag passive, mean to say wala silang ginagawa. Nag-receive lang sila ng information. So the best answer is children learn from adults and other children. Sorry. This is referred to by Vygotsky as the difference between what an individual can learn unassisted and the learning that could be achieved with support from a more knowledgeable person. So yung ZPD is equal to potential level minus actual level. So anong tawag doon? ZPD or the zone of proximal development. Yun yung discuss natin kanina. Ito. Teacher H begins a lesson on tumbling. By demonstrating, una, nag-demonstrate siya ng front at back somersaults in slow motion and physically guiding his students through the correct movements. Now, as his students become more skillful, nung naging mas magaling na sila, he stands back from the mat. Hindi na siya nag-demonstrate, hindi na siya physically guide sa mga students, but nagbigay na lang siya ng verbal feedback. With Vygotsky's theory in mind, what did teacher H do? Ang ginawa niya, nagbigay siya ng support. What do you call that one? Scaffolding pa rin. Okay, number 6. Which is essential or important in the cognitive development of persons according to Vygotsky. Isa po yan sa importanteng factor. Of course, answer is social interaction. Number 7, which of the following is true according to Vygotsky? Ano yun daw ang totoo according to Vygotsky? Remember that important po ang social interaction. So saan dyan ang merong social interaction? The correct answer is letter what? B. So knowledge is constructed, take note of the clue, between people as they, another clue, interact. So social interaction. One learns math by building on math lessons previously learned. This is an application of what theory? So kumbaga, we use our prior knowledge sa, tawag nito, sa halimbawa, nag-learn tayo ng bagong mga lessons. We use our prior knowledge. So hindi tayo maka-learn how to multiply without learning the process of addition. Ang term po dyan is constructivism. In fact, itong dalawa, si Piaget at si Vygotsky, they are both constructivists at the same time. So, knowledge is gained by construction. Kino-construct ng learners. And nag-use sila sa kanilang prior knowledge or schema. And the theme of Vygotsky's sociocultural theory emphasizes the role of appropriate assistance given by the teacher to accomplish a task. Such help enables the child to move from the zone of actual development to a zone of proximal development. Such assistance is termed as, anong tawag sa assistance na yun? Binabalik-balik lang. We call that one scaffold. Okay? And that's only 9 items lang po. So in short, the passing score is 7. So kumusta po yung result niyo? I hope na nagpo-pause lang po tayo para nahabol po niyo kasi as much as possible, we aim na mas short lang ang ating video para hindi masyadong malaki yung data na makukuha sa inyo. So guys, as I've said before in the previous video, I hope that you will continue to study the concepts. Again, very important po to sa inyong pagpasa at pagtop sa board examination. So thank you so much for once again watching this video, and I hope mas tataas pa ang ating result sa next videos po natin. So I think that would be it. Good day.